name is James, and I'm going to be doing your reading today. This is going to be a reading for the collective. And from now on, the order in which I do the videos, it's not going to be like this last time where I did them in like chronological zodiac order. From now on, I'm going to be basing which signs I do based upon the engagement from the sign. So, for example, I want to say like this past week, from this last batch of readings I did, Scorpio had the most engagement, where there's around 1,000 views and however many likes and comments and stuff like that. So Scorpio will be the first that I do, and then from there, going down the list, it'll be whichever ones had the most engagement and going down to the ones that had the least engagement. Alright, so when cards flip out while I'm shuffling, I take them as like a little side message, a little something extra that the universe would like to bring to your attention outside of whatever's going to come out here in the spread. Now, this particular card is called the Seven of Thread Tapestry. Interdependence, wisdom, and ancestry. So I feel like, it would really benefit you at this time to, look into your ancestry, look into like, your genetic line, your people that are like in your family but from like the past a little bit further down, right? And I mean, honestly, you'll really be surprised at what you'll find when you dig into stuff like that. Like, for example, like my mother was adopted, so I didn't know what was on her side of our genetic pool here. And so back in, I want to say like 2019 for Christmas, I did one of those ancestry DNA tests, and I found out that like there's a lot of like Norse on her side. And so to me, right, that made me realize that that's probably why I've always connected so much to like the pagan belief, or like, for example, like the show Vikings, right? Like I've always been interested in like Vikings and their way of life and paganism, and I guess I never exactly understood why. And then when like I looked into my ancestry, I was like, wow, so that's why I felt like so connected to these particular ways, right? So that's just like a little example there. But let's get into this spread here. We're going to take a look at the energies that are currently influencing you. All right. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Ooh, okay, so we have both a 3 and a 4 here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of Thread, Twine, Agreement, Symbiosis, and Compromise. So there may be some sort of, I want to say, maybe there's going to be some sort of, I want to say, like, agreement between you and another individual that's going to require compromise on your part so that you guys can like really work together well, right, for things to go in your favor here. Now for the actual spread out here, we have the 3 of Thread, not promises, bonds, and remembrance. Let's see, the 3 of Thread. Alright. The 3 of Thread. Okay, that's the paper. This may take a moment. My apologies. the Three of Thread. Alright, this card in the Awakened state represents promises, bonds, and remembrance. The Three of Thread is the knot card, when we take two or more threads and bind them together in a way that will hold fast. As with knots, there are a variety of promises we can make with others of many different strengths. The knot symbolizes how we tie ourselves together when we take an oath to do something, say something, act a certain way in our relationships with ourselves or things, and people outside of ourselves. It also stands for the bonds of memory and experience that bring us closer and keep us close to the people we experience them with. Powerful memories can brighten your day or strengthen your relationships when recalled. In shadow, the knot keeps us tied down where we don't want to be. Our freely made promises become obligations, our bonds become bondage, and we begin to feel trapped. Whether the commitment was made in error in the first place or the situation has changed, it no longer serves us well. It may need to be readjusted or broken. Some obligations are crafted by societal expectations or by people in our lives who have something to gain from us without our consent. A promise is consent, and consent can always be withdrawn. Alternately, this card can also represent dwelling on the past in ways that aren't healthy for us. Questions to ask. What promises have I made or have others made to me? What bonds exist between me and the people, places, things in my story? How do these bonds affect our relationship? What are my strongest memories of? What am I drawn to remembering right now? Do I feel obligated to a promise/commitment I no longer feel is right? Do I feel trapped by the bonds between me and others? Have I been dwelling on the past instead of living in the present? Those are some very good questions. But yeah, so with this, right, and then with the card that is coming up next as well, I definitely get the vibe that there's something here that you committed yourself to. You may have made a promise or some sort of commitment. When things were at a certain point between you and another, and this could be like you and a singular other, or this could be between like you and a like collective other, right? That part will be particular to your individual situation, but I definitely get the vibe that you did make a promise and it became a sort of obligation here. And the way that I see this tying in, right? Because with this twine card, this Two of Thread, speaking of agreements, symbiosis, and compromise, I get the vibe that there's gonna be like a sort of renegotiation, or like that's something that's gonna be like required, is a renegotiation here of a previous promise that was made, a commitment that was made that has now become more of an obligation, something that is making you feel trapped, and now you're like dwelling back to when you made this promise because of the regret you sort of feel here. Whatever it is, it says here it no longer serves you well. It may need to be readjusted or broken. And now this could definitely have been something that wasn't as much in your favor. At the time, it may have seemed like it was in your favor. I get the vibe that there was some sort of illusion at the time. But, now that it's later on down the line, and I get the vibe you're sort of really like seeing it for what it is. That's why you're starting to see it. It's starting to feel like more of an obligation. And it's something that really is making you feel like trapped in this current situation. Alright, so next we have the Four of Ink, pen, representing manifestation, communication, and clarity. Now in the awakened state, which would be representative of the upright, it represents manifestation, communication, and clarity. Its shadow represents miscommunication, uncertainty, and obscurity. The Four of Ink is the pen, the tool with which we take our thoughts and turn them into words that exist on the physical plane. Understanding what it is we want to say is the first step in making our desire or message come through. Words, images, sign language, body language, and other forms of communication are powerful tools for letting others know what we're feeling and thinking. It allows for understanding and collaboration. It's important that our communication is clear and effective if we want the best results and the least conflict. Awaken, this card suggests a need to get your message out into the world or to specific people, however that works for you. It may also represent the act of writing in particular. And now that takes me back to this Two of Thread with the agreement / compromise. That can be something that is physical, written down on paper. And I mean, honestly, you could very well be the one writing it. Now, in shadow, our message becomes garbled and misunderstood. This may stem from a lack of skill in the communicative arts or from uncertainty. It's difficult to relay a message if you aren't even sure what the message is. Vagueness, dense, and difficult wording, or plain nonsense are indicated by the Four of Ink in shadow. Questions to ask. What do I want to manifest in my story right now or in the future? How can I communicate that desire to myself, the universe, and others who can make it come true? How can I be clear in my messages to others? How can I express myself clearly? Have I possibly miscommunicated my intent or desire? Am I uncertain of the message I want to send? Is my message vague or difficult to understand? So yeah, I definitely get that you've been working on, manifesting something new because of that, feeling of being trapped in this commitment, this promise that you made. And it's very possible that, in a sense, things not going the way that you planned, not going, the way that you previously thought they would when you made this agreement or promise, that can sort of, in a sense, bring you clarity on the situation, but, more so in the sense of, the reality of the situation. Maybe it's what you're actually doing somewhere. For example, if it's, a family situation, right? Maybe you went back to live with family and there was, a previous, agreement that, for example, they could have told you, you're not, when you're here, you're not going to be, waiting on people, you're not going to be, doing everything for others, and, there could be, a promise of, your own space and stuff like that, things that you did not previously have, to kind of, sweeten the deal and, make it, to influence you to say yes, to come back and then do whatever, and then you don't realize until maybe a couple of months or a year or so in that everything that was said in the beginning there, that was promised, that was communicated, was false. Because maybe you are doing everything now and waiting on people. Whereas yes, you may have your own space, but is it really worth it when you really don't get to spend much time in it? Because you're constantly doing things for others. And that also takes away time from you, from manifesting what you would like, from putting the time and effort and having the dedication to the things that you would like to do for you, because you're too busy serving others. So I feel there's a need to recompromise and come up with a new sort of agreement, sort of switch around the I want to say switch around the roles, but I feel there was something else there. You may want to switch around the the people who do things, for example. Maybe in this new agreement, there's going to be others pitching in and doing particular things to take some of that weight off of you, so that you can then, progress in your life with the things that you would like to focus on and do for yourself. And that also, frees up time for you to do things like self-care to make you feel good, right? Alright, now we're going to get into the tarot portion here. I do a 9-card tarot spread with no clarification. I'm going to put up a post probably later on today after I finish recording whatever readings I could get done today. But, I'm going to ask what you guys would like to see in these readings, right? Like, would you like me to further clarify these 9 cards in the spread? Do you like having the 2 oracle cards? Would you prefer me to just use tarot to tell the story to get the vibe? Would you like me to, get advice at the end? Are there particular, types of readings you would see? Like, what different subjects would you like to see here? What are things that you are interested in knowing about, right? Okay, so when cards flip out while I'm shuffling, I think I might have said this in the beginning. Did I? I can't remember, so I'm just going to repeat myself because I'm good at that. So when cards flip out while I'm shuffling, I take them as like a sort of side message, a little something extra that the universe would like to bring to your attention here. Now, first up here, we have the Star. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. So, I definitely get the vibe here, okay, that you've been doing a lot of resting, taking, time to really, maybe do some self-care, to do some healing. Maybe you pick up, a spiritual practice, something that, becomes sort of ritualistic, a little something that you do every day just to contribute to yourself positively. And with this, Page of Pentacles here, I get the vibe that you're definitely, you're taking a break. You're going out, you're reconnecting with nature, which is really, helping you to connect to yourself, and in turn that helps you to connect to the universe. And at the same time, that leaves room, for you to really appreciate, where you are, the things that you've gone through and where they've taken you, the lessons you've learned, getting to this particular point in your life where you feel, this Page of Pentacles just popped out again, so I feel like there's, much emphasis here, and this is not even what, a traditional Page of Pentacles card would look like. This to me is, very, 4 of Swords looking, he's just kicked back, laying down in the grass, taking in the scent and the sight of that sunflower, he looks like he's almost, daydreaming, in a sense. Alright, let's see, what does the collective need to know at this time? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, okay. Alright, the first card out here is the Lovers. And then under that is the King of Cups. Ooh, and the 2 of Cups. Christmas. Okay. There's definitely something going on in love here. Alright, so... Oh. Okay. Oh, jeez. Alright. So I took quite a few from the bottom of the deck. This may be a bit longer of a video. Alright. So, at the bottom of the deck here, we have the 4 of Wands. Come on, let's focus. Are you focusing? Hopefully. Alright, so we have the 4 of Wands. We have the Hierophant. have the Ace of Pentacles. Come on, autofocus. And then we have the Two of Wands. And the Eight of Pentacles. Alright, so right away, okay, I am drawn to how we have the Four of Wands and the Hierophant first up. And in the spread we have, the Lovers, the Two of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Eight of Wands. Like, there's a lot of positivity here when it comes to connection. But, like, after the Lovers, then we have, the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the King of Cups. So, like, somebody has really been holding back their feelings here. And I feel like, you could possibly even be waiting for somebody to come forward with emotions, because underneath what we already have at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Five of Cups and the Three of Wands. And with the Three of Wands, that gives me the vibe of you, waiting for maybe somebody to come forward with how they feel. But with this Five of Cups, right, I feel like it's taken, quite some time for them to do this. I don't even think they've come forward yet. So, that sort of puts you in this Five of Cups energy where you're just like, you feel very disappointed, like you may have missed out on something that could have been, like, amazing in a sense. Because here with the Four of Wands to the Hierophant and then the Ace of Pentacles, like, that to me is speaking of such, like, a high level of commitment, like such a big offer there. And then to have, like, that Ace of Pentacles, like, it's something that you obviously see, like, what is the word? It's like you obviously see potential with this individual in this connection. This is something like you see you guys having, like, a stable life together, building something very stable, very long lasting here. Because usually the Four of Wands to the Hierophant really speaks of, like, higher level commitment, marriage. And then to have the Two of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles, like, I feel like you've been really, like, this commitment taking so long to come through. Like, it has you in that Two of Wands energy where, at this point you're not sure if you should just move on and, like, work on yourself, focus on your career, focus on, like, building, materially, so that you have your own stability. Because, like I said, with that Hierophant and the Four of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, like, this is, to me, speaking of, like, an amazing offer here, like something that is really going to last, something that you personally believe in. And it's like with this Hierophant here, right, the way that, him and the buffalo are connected, third eye to third eye, like, I feel like you feel such a deep spiritual connection with this individual. And it's like that Ace of Pentacles, like, you see potential, that this, even though it may not seem like much now, it could grow into something much larger here, where with the Four of Wands, you have that stability together, like, there's going to be a reason to celebrate. But that Five of Cups energy, just, that's what's really getting me right now. Alright, but now, to get to the actual spread here, geez, we're already 24, almost 25 minutes in, I'm just starting the spread. Alright, so first out here we have the Lovers. I love this Lovers card. This is a new deck that literally just arrived yesterday, and I'm utterly obsessed. Now, if you've seen the Seers Tarot, I think it's called, the Light Seers Tarot, there we go. The artwork is so similar, which is a part of why I fell in love with this. Like, the line work, the colors, what is it? There's a lot of like landscape in here, a lot of like beautiful colored skies, sunsets, night, daytime, like these. Let me shut up and get to the reading because I could talk about these forever. So, after the lovers here, we have the Queen of Swords. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to this connection, right, this individual here that you feel this really deep connection with, you may have had to be a bit harsh and straightforward with this individual. And after that, you've like you tried to do things in a peaceful way, but I feel like this Five of Cups energy, right? It has you very impatient, so you may have impulsively like sent this person a message and like expressed what you're feeling to them. And with that Eight of Swords, I feel like it's like, you're really taking a look at yourself here. You're really reflecting a lot, and you're noticing how in the past, not speaking up has held you back. That could have caused you to stay in a relationship much longer than you should have. You could have stayed connected to somebody, waiting for somebody much longer than you should have. Because you were afraid that speaking up would maybe cause you to lose this individual. And that's something that you wanted to avoid. But very rarely is that, what it really seems to be, because you may feel like you'll lose the individual if you speak up and you're honest about how you feel, but at the same time, is that really something like the kind of connection that you want to be involved in, where you feel like if you express yourself what you're feeling, then this person is just going to leave, right? That doesn't sound healthy at all. That's not something you want to really be in. So next up here, we have the King of Cups. And then we have the Two of Cups. With the Six of Wands. Let's see, is that focused? Let's go. Alright, so with that, okay, I feel that this King of Cups is, yes, it's representative of this individual that has been holding back their feelings, but I feel like, this individual, like, after you express what you've been feeling, I feel like that, in a sense, triggers this individual to open up more about the things that they've been holding back. And with that Two of Cups, I feel like that, brings you guys closer together, because now you have a better understanding of what's going on their end, and they have a better understanding of what's going on your end. And that, opens up a space for you guys to really connect and become closer and have, that deeper understanding of the other. And with that Six of Wands, right, I feel like that really gives you the feeling, right, that leaves you both feeling like this is a connection that can be very successful. This is something that you guys, feel that you'll really, like, be able to have a successful connection, a successful long-term relationship with this individual. But that feeling only comes after, you send this message and they come back to you and open up about what's been going on at their end, because next up, after that Six of Wands here, we have the Eight of Wands. Once you open up that particular dialogue, right, I feel like that really, opens the both of you up more. You're feeling okay with being more vulnerable and more open, which with that Eight of Wands really opens up that space for a lot of communication. And it doesn't even have to be a lot of communication. It's just, things are going to move a bit faster now. Things are going to be a bit more, like, I want to say maybe like a little bit more intense now that you guys have really opened up to each other like that. And, you're going to have deeper conversations. And now next up, after the Eight of Wands, we have the Magician. And lastly, we have the Moon. So, I feel like this is really speaking to, that communication, right? With that Eight of Wands, it's really sort of like, I feel like that's something that you yourself really manifested. Like, I feel like that's something that you were really, working on. Um, Creating between the two of you is that open dialogue, that comfortability to be, vulnerable with each other like that on that level. And like, because you knew, that was something that was really going to bring you guys closer together and, take that weight of worry off of each of your shoulders. Because I feel like you guys really like mirroring yourselves here. Because, that's also the sort of vibe that I got from like that Eight of Swords, where she's looking into the water, and in the water is the reflection of her, but she is bound and blindfolded. And I feel like, that speaks a lot to how the both of you have been feeling. Now, with this Magician to the Moon, like, I feel like now you really feel like you can, like, you realize, essentially, that, and now this could be either for just you or the both of you, right? I feel like it's more so the both of you, though, because again, I feel like there's a lot of mirroring here. And, this, all this communication, going deeper, getting to know each other better, being more vulnerable, it makes the both of you feel like you can, like, achieve anything you want, essentially. It makes you feel like, I get the vibe that it's like, you guys knowing that you have each other, right? It makes you feel like you can literally do anything. You're capable of doing anything you want. And with this Moon card here, right, I feel like that's, whatever that conversation was, it is really illuminated a lot for the both of you, whereas beforehand, like with that Eight of Swords energy, you could have felt like, you were kind of like in the dark. You could have felt like, there was a lot of things that you guys didn't know about each other, which could have created like a particular kind of anxiety for the both of you when it came to this situation. But, again, we have that Two of Cups, that Six of Wands, that Eight of Wands, everything from the moment of opening up to each other and forward is really, creating that ideal environment for the both of you to become truly intimate. Because, a lot of people will see intimacy as like physical, having to do with sex, but really intimacy is intimacy is representative of the deep spiritual inner understanding that you have, not only of yourselves but one another together, having that deeper, better understanding of the other individual. And I feel like that's what this really Eight of Wands is coming to, like, and with that King of Cups being right under the Lovers, like, this person obviously has those feelings for you. They just, I feel like communication is something that you guys really needed to work on, and something that you still need to work on. And with that Eight of Wands, I feel like it is being worked on. You guys are really, feeling that you're more able now to speak to the other about more personal things, more deeper things, and expressing, like, maybe one of you is having, some money troubles, and, you may have to, like, try to, like, save some money and stuff, and so that means you won't be able to, like, go out and contribute, like, on a date, for example, whether it's just paying for yourself or whether you guys take turns, paying for whatever activities you guys end up doing. So, you may, that's another, like, thing that the Eight of Swords gives me the vibe of, is, like, you're holding yourself back because of financial constraints, because of other things in your life that may be taking up your time and not allowing one or the both of you to give your full attention. Not being able to give, your 110% into this connection like you want to. And that could be coming off like something completely different to this individual until this individual opens up to you. And until you guys really connect like that there with that Two of Cups. Because here we have that Six of Wands, the Four of Wands, the Hierophant, that Ace of Pentacles. Like, this is something that's going to be very, very successful. And I feel like, there's definitely the potential for this to result in marriage down the line. You guys could be talking about, in the future, like building a home together. You could talk about, things that, like, you guys would like to have in the future. Like I said, like, building a home. You could be planning a wedding. You could be, even meeting each other's family or friends, the people that they consider, really important to them in their life and they're very close to. Whew. All right. So that is the message that I have for you guys today. I do hope it serves you well. Be gentle with yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.